Welcome to our Python tutoring on comments, variables, input and output. In this lesson, we'll build on the basics we learned last time and start exploring Python's core functionalities, focusing on comments, variables, and functions for input and output operations. Let's get started. Comments are an essential part of programming. Comments are used to make your code more readable or to add explanations. For single-line comments, you use the hashtag symbol. Everything after hashtag on that line is treated as a comment. If you need multi-line comments, you can use triple single quotes or triple double quotes. These are often used for docstrings to describe a block of code or a function. Comments are ignored by Python when running the code but are crucial for documenting your work. By using comments effectively, you make your code easier to understand for yourself and others. Let's talk about variables, one of the most fundamental concepts in programming. Variables are used for storing values. In Python, creating a variable is as simple as writing a name, followed by equals, and then assigning a value. What makes Python special is that it's dynamically typed. This means you don't need to declare a variable type like int or string. Python figures it out based on the value you assign. This flexibility makes Python very user-friendly for beginners. Now, let's discuss the rules for naming identifiers, which are the names you assign to variables, functions, or other elements in your Python code. Here are the rules. Identifiers must start with a letter or an underscore. For instance, _temp and name123 are valid. But 123 name is invalid because it starts with a number. They can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, but nothing else. So, my_var is valid. My_var is invalid because it uses a special character, hyphen. And my_var is invalid because it contains a space. Now, let's learn how to display the output on the console in Python. The print function is used for displaying output on the console. In this example, we use print function to output the string hello, world, to the console. You can include special characters to control formatting, such as \t for horizontal tab and \n for a new line. In this example, we use the tab character, \t, between the texts to separate them by tabs when displayed on the console. For this example, we use the new line character, \n, between the texts to move each piece of text to a new line when displayed on the console. Let's look at another example where we use print function to display text and variables. Line 1, we creates a variable named name and assigns it the value John, which is a string. Strings are sequences of characters enclosed in quotes, either single or double quotes. Line 2, we creates a variable named age and assigns it the value 30, which is an integer. Line 3, it outputs text and values to the console. Inside the parentheses, the print function combines the variable name, holding the value John. The string is literal text to describe the statement. The variable age, holding the value 30. The string years old, another text to complete the sentence. The print function automatically separates each item with a space, so there's no need to manually add spaces in the text. Now, let's explore how to assign values to variables in Python. We will look at both regular assignments and a neat trick called simultaneous assignments. In the first example, we assign values to name and age one at a time. In the second example, simultaneous assignment allows us to assign values to multiple variables in a single line. Simultaneous assignment is an elegant way to swap two variables without needing a temporary variable. Line 1, we initialize two variables, a and b, with the values 5 and 10, respectively using the simultaneous assignment. Line 2 swaps the values of a and b using simultaneous assignment. The print on the last line will display the result after swapping. As you can see in the output, after swapping, the value of a is 10, and the value of b is 5. This simple and elegant approach to swapping is one of the many strengths of Python's simultaneous assignment feature. Let's learn how to make our programs interactive by reading input from the user. You can take input from users using the input function. In the example, first, we displays a message enter your name, and waits for the user to type something. The value entered by the user is stored in the name variable. Finally, we use print function to display our message to the console. And here is the output that is displayed on the console. By default, the input function treats all input as strings. To perform calculations, you need to convert the input to a number. Python provides several functions for this. Int is used to convert input into an integer. Float is perfect for working with floating point numbers. Eval is a powerful function that evaluates the input as an expression. We also can use it to convert a string to a number, which can be a float or integer. Let's look at an example where we convert input to numbers. Line 1 prompts the user to enter an integer value. The input function takes the user's input as a string. The int function converts this string into an integer. The result is stored in the variable I. Line 2 prompts the user to enter a floating point number. The input function collects the input as a string. The float function converts the string into a floating point number. The result is stored in the variable f. Line 3 allows the user to enter either an integer or a floating point number. Regardless of what the user enters, the eval function converts it into a number. The result is stored in the variable n. Line 4 allows the user to enter a mathematical expression. The input function collects the expression as a string. The eval function evaluates the string as a valid Python expression, performing the calculation. The result of the evaluated expression is stored in the variable e. At the end, we use the print function to display the result of the summation of all the variables defined above. Let's look at the output. The inputs 2, 1.5, 2.45, and the evaluated expression 0.5 * 1 plus 3/2, which equals 1.25, are summed up to give 7.2. What you have learned today are the fundamental concepts that form the backbone of Python programming. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson, where we'll continue building on these basics.